Hello and welcome to day 2 highlights of the Air Things Masters part of the Champions Chess Tour. Day 2 was a dull draw affair, guys, so we'll be having a quick look at the key moments of the game on a day where 21 out of the 24 games ended in draws and we just had 3 decisive results. And it didn't shake up the standings too much. We'll also have a look at that because there are only 3 games to be played today and we will have our top 8. So it's a tournament of 12 players and that will be narrowed down to 8 players and we will have our knockouts starting tomorrow. So let's jump right in the key moments of round 5 here in a game between Magnus Carlsen and Daniil Dubov. So in a very simple opening, we'll quickly jump into a position where Magnus Carlsen is very famous uh, for, like what Magnus Carlsen is really famous for, that is grinding water out of stone. And you can see in this fairly equal position, it is almost like white is a pawn up and the pawns are also on the same side. So any knight end games or any rook end games, both are going to be a draw. So it is really important to note how Magnus tries to create something out of nothing. Like here actually in this position, Dubov had a chance to take rook takes e3, but it allows Magnus to get a passed pawn here, which Dubov didn't really like, so he retreats back with the rook. And a very important point to note here was Dubov didn't have that much time on his clock, but let's see how Magnus just forces matters. Knight h8, a beautiful move, knight going back, but can come to two very strong squares. But this is where Magnus puts uh, all his energy and comes up with a brilliant plan. So he goes knight b8, rook b7, rook a6 check, and now he's ready to face this by getting his own knight to f5. Dubo a little scared, just tries to control that, but mind you, now the knight on the corner is a very bad piece because it has only 4 squares to go to, and like trying to get in some checks, but very beautiful move by Magnus. Just f4, note you cannot take because this knight hangs, and check, and the king is safe. And now comes in the check, and Magnus gets his second pawn, and if you just take, white can take back and white has 2 pawns up. Dubov tries to go for a very popular theme of a perpetual check, because let's say I just play a random move like h4, and guys, this is a draw. And mind you, Carlsen cannot push with king h1 because rook h2 is a mate. So after knight f3, Magnus found the only winning move in the position, that is pawn to g6 check. If you take, I play knight d4, a discovered check from the rook, and pick up your knight. So this is what maybe Dubov missed, we will never know. And after g6, king e7, now you just have to avoid this trap, you are totally in a winning position. So after rook a3, just Magnus converts with ease. Now you have this passed pawn that is going to be unstoppable. This knight is again stuck in the corner, and just a couple of checks, and now after g7, Dubov is toasted, and this is how Magnus squeezed water out of stone to come back to the lead, and he now is the joint leader alongside many other players. Let's jump into another decisive game again from round 5. This is a game featuring Anish Giri and Indian superstar, India number 2, Pentala Harikrishna. A very normal opening here, but now after white played long castle, Giri is known for his drawing tendencies, but here he goes like all out because he had a very dismal round day 1 and he was languishing at the bottom. But we'll just see how this day went for Giri as well as Hari Krishna. And here you see in Giri is really trying to force matters, and now he gets his chance. So d5, knight e5, and now can you guys spot it? You might want to pause the video and find the only way that white can create some problems for black. And boom, he goes bishop into b5, guys. And the point is, if you take, I take back, and now this, I mean, look at these pieces, these are such beautiful pieces for white. And all of, you know, even this bishop comes, oops, wrong arrow. And yeah, so it was a very calculated decision by Anish, and yes, rook d6 is an important one. And now bishop into e5, He is an exchange down for the moment, but he has plenty of compensation, especially because of this bishop on e5 being a beast. And Hari continues with this, and now king a1, the beautiful move. The point being, we cannot play knight b5 because bishop e4 hangs. So you have to get this king out of the way, and now black's king is in big problems. So because queen c4, idea is b4 and also threatening the rook, so you don't have time to take on f6. Giri just simply saves the rook, also supports the queen, and just we'll have a quick look where things went south really fast for Hari Krishna, and sadly he had to uh, like again it is really difficult because you if you capture this, I just have I think knight d5 and the queen opens up the long diagonal. And after king b7, okay, Anish is just a piece up, and just after a few moves, Anish duly converted and forced resignation. So these were two of the decisive games. Let's jump into the next round, that is round 6, and where sadly Anish had to face another loss. So he made a mini comeback, but Dubov just killed his chances in this Berlin anti-Berlin. And here we'll see a very nice idea again. Dubov, like, easily the most enterprising player of the event, and really tries very hard to win all his games. He's super creative, and stuff is still not so easy for Anish, but he should definitely not be losing this one. But here you see this passed pawn will create some problems, and he picks up this bishop, and Anish has several pawns here, guys, for the bishop. But you see, the best way to convert when you are ahead in material is by trading pieces. So he trades this rook, gives up another pawn, but the point being, now the queen will come back, and like, I have enough pawns. Dubov is saying, like, he has enough pawns. 3 pawns are enough to win, and of course you have the bishop as well. So a nice finish here by Dubov. You see now queen e5. If you take queen a4, I just play bishop d4, and it's a mate threat, unavoidable mate threat. Even if you give like one check, I just go up. You cannot come back to save your mate because this pawn is controlling g4. So queen e5, nice move by Dubov. c5, and now just Dubov starts picking up pawns, and it's never easy. And this bishop wasn't even required in the end to win the game. So we have actually come to the end of decisive games, but let's have a quick look at some other interesting moments, key moments as well, quickly. So in Nepomniachtchi against Radjabov, Nepo had a decent position around this point. This is round 7, and note, guys, round 7 and 8 had all 12 games ended in draws. That is 6 games in each round ended in draws. It was in this position where Nepo could have created some chances if he had gone for the aggressive move queen d5 check. And the point being, now he can come back, consolidate, and then have this passed pawn. But instead he hurried with d5, and this pawn is just too alone. This king is too weak, and now the queen is stuck offside. Like, white needs the queen here to get stuff going, and after f3 you see there's too much compensation, and now it is very difficult to win this bishop endgame. He had to take his chance when he had queens on the board. Jumping into round 8, where again all games ended in a draw, but we have a mouth-watering clash between two fierce rivals on Twitter. And in this opening, Magnus looked better prepared, looked really confident, and was really excited. Especially, he's always animated in his matches against Anish. And here, in this critical moment, he recaptured within 2 seconds, and this was like almost a fatal mistake because the game ended in a draw because of this move alone. Here he played queen into b3 in a logical and natural recapture, but guys, after this black got an e6, and now the knight has to come back, and it is, you see, it is very symmetrical. 2 pawns versus 2 pawns, 4 pawns versus 4 pawns, bishops of the same color. There is no imbalance. Like, white cannot create any complications, and without that, Anish is happy to make a draw with black any day, but Carlsen can't force matters, and this game had to end in a draw. But speaking of a chance that Magnus had, is here with pawn into b3, and ruining your pawn structure, agreed. But now this knight on d5 is an absolute monster, is a beast. You never can go here because there is a check, and of course if you take, and now there is nothing stopping bishop h6 and queen h7 mate. So this was the point. And now if you don't play e6, I'll get my bishop to g5, I'll get my rook to c1, and again you see black's queen can never come here because there are discovered checks like this. Queen cannot come to e6 because I have knight c7 forking the rook and the knight, and the rook and the queen, and it is really difficult here. So a into b3 was the chance which Carlsen should have taken, and he was also visibly upset after he missed this. And coming back to the last position of the day is between Hari Krishna and Nepomniachtchi, the last game of the round that ended yesterday, and it was in this position. Hari is playing white. He has to win to get into those top 8 places. We'll also discuss the standings in a moment. So he played the move b4, really nice move, and now he's just threatening to win this rook. So after bishop d7, he had the nice move pawn to b5. And now after Nepo captured, he's going to win this exchange, guys, because he just moves away the rook, and now white's threat is to play a4, winning the rook. So Nepo takes this, takes, and now Hari Krishna has a rook for a bishop and a pawn, but definitely something that you should not get into a draw so quickly. And in this position, I'm very sure that Hari would have played on against like any other opponent or in any other tournament, but here he just timidly agrees to a draw. So I don't think this was the best idea, because he has many moves. He can play rook a3 supporting this pawn, he can play rook b1 as well, and you know he has two rooks at the end of the day. Even Nakamura was quite surprised when Hari chose to repeat here, and like, you're not getting anything, you have to get in the top 8, you're not going to win anything by drawing. So this was the point, guys. And finally, after Hari Krishna drew, we have the end of day 2, we have the standings at the end of day 2, and here we go. So it is plenty of players, 6 players tied, and remember, top 8 qualify, and the finals will be played today, where we have only 3 games to be played. So Nakamura, Aronian, Carlsen, Radyabov, Wesley and Dubov look very likely to qualify. Grischuk and Nepomniachtchi have to try to win one game, otherwise they can't qualify. And down the order we have MVL and Hari Krishna. That is why I was stressing this point. Hari should have tried a little bit for the win. And finally we have David Anton Goyaro and our favorite Anish Giri languishing at the bottom, sadly, but still, you know, a couple of wins on the bounce, on the trot, and you have a chance to qualify. So Anish and David will be looking forward to that. And yes, we will also be looking forward to an exciting day 3 with plenty of action. I hope we have decisive results, many more for the highlights tomorrow. And yes, do note, top 8 will qualify, and after that we will switch to a knockout. And really looking forward to it, and hope you liked the video. Thank you.